Hello, I'm finally back with the next episode of Reference Wednesdays, a series where I use photo references or reference packs from Studio Graphite to do some gesture sketches and warm-ups or anatomy studies and whatnot. Yeah, so it's been a little while since I have made an episode of this series, and actually, unlike most of the episodes that I've done so far, this one is not scripted and does not have a structure to it, so it's not like one of those tip videos or advice on various figure drawing related things. I was just mostly planning to give you guys some updates on what I'm up to and what this channel, what's happening with this channel and what I'm doing with my art at the moment. And yeah, so first and foremost, the references that I'm using, like I mentioned, are from Studio Graphite, and you can find a link to that in my description. I love their photo packs and I use them a lot for warm-ups and to study anatomy, so I highly recommend you check them out if you haven't. And you can see that I have a 20% off discount, which you can find in the description as well, so check that out. But yes, so now that that's out of the way, I wanted to mention that, like some of you who watch this channel or follow me on YouTube in general may remember, I started this sort of casual challenge thing called 100 figures with cause. That's the hashtag. So I know that I'm super late with this, and I said that I was gonna make a video in a couple of weeks. It's already been a few weeks. I think it's almost been like a month since I actually started that, so I guess it's about time. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. A few Reference Wednesdays episodes ago, I basically announced that I wanted to do like a little community challenge thing where whoever wants to participate can draw 100 figure studies, and then in a future video I can take a look at people's submissions, those of you who decide to participate in the challenge and use the hashtag. Yeah, I was gonna look at the results and maybe give some feedback, or you know, just generally look over and give feedback or critique to whoever wants it. So I'm not exactly sure how to go about that, so if you do want me to take a look at your stuff and perhaps give you some feedback, I would love for you to maybe leave a comment in this video or maybe send me a DM on Instagram, but a comment on this video would be the best, and then that'll essentially give me permission to put your stuff into the video that I'm planning to make for next week. So that's essentially what I wanted to announce about that challenge thing. I have not forgotten about it. I've just been super busy the past few weeks. There's been a lot going on, and yeah, I just couldn't not find time. But yes, next week is when I'm planning to finally conclude that. And yeah, so that being said, I suppose I wanted to, I also wanted to let you guys know that some of the stuff that I've been super busy with is actually a big shop update that I had recently. For my shop, I finally made some merch that I've been working on and off for like almost the entirety of this year, so it's great that I was finally able to conclude that, and I hope you check it out if you don't know about it. Also, obviously the link for my shop is in my description. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I've been working on for a while that I was finally able to release, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. So yeah, overall, very happy with how the shop update went. I want to thank you guys, to all of you who bought something. It was an absolute pleasure packing all the orders. I really kind of went above and beyond on the packaging this time around because I really was being obsessive about it. So hopefully you guys like the packages when you receive them. And yeah, I guess it's a bit of a tangent from the topic of this video or this series or whatever, but just wanted to quickly mention that as well. But yeah, what you're looking at essentially is just a warm-up study that I did this morning. I didn't really have anything planned, but I know that I did want to make a Reference Wednesday video, at least giving you guys some sort of update, and that's what I'm doing right now, obviously. But yeah, I didn't want to do it digitally like I do most of the time, and so yeah, I was essentially looking through my sketchbook recently and noticed that I'm actually almost done with it. And now and then I will get like some of you asking when I'm going to do another sketchbook tour, and that's actually gonna be pretty soon because there's only like several more pages left, and I am planning to do more warm-ups on paper for the next while, I guess, and so I will most likely fill it pretty quickly, and I will soon do another sketchbook flip through. But yes, so I decided to make this video real time as well. I thought that's something different from the typical videos that I upload where you can actually just watch me sketch in real time, and for once I am using a pencil, something I typically don't do. I usually sketch with either a marker or a pen, but today I decided to just use a good old pencil. So there's that. As you can see, it's an F pencil. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't think I've seen many of those before, but it's kind of similar to an H. I would probably say it's more or less the same, or like it feels more or less the same. Yeah, the reason why I prefer this type of pencil is because it is not as smudgy as a B, like a softer B pencil, so that's the reason, but I don't want to dwell on that because it's pretty boring. So yeah, overall, I've not done warm-up sketches in ages, just because mostly I've been focused on so many business-related tasks recently, like, you know, updating my shop, and there's just a ton of stuff that barely involves any drawing at all, and I am happy to finally be able to just draw again, so that's nice. And yeah, I was feeling super rusty. I actually started the session with a marker, and after filling out a couple of pages, it just wasn't really doing anything for me, mostly because I was probably super rusty and I just wasn't getting good results. But yeah, once I switched to the pencil, I feel like things got a little bit more fun and a little bit easier, so that's the part that I chose to include in this video. And it is a little bit longer than my recent videos, which hopefully you guys like as well, because I know that I used to make much longer videos earlier, like several months ago, back in the day in my channel. So yeah. So now that I'm back to drawing again, and I have successfully concluded the shop update that I've been looking forward to for a long time, I am going to tell you guys a little bit about what I'm planning to do next. So my biggest issue with the projects that I pursue is that I tend to kind of try to do too many things at once. And that being said, I wanted to mention that I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with the Reference Wednesdays video series, because I have to admit to you guys and to myself that it is very difficult for me to actually keep up with this video series on a weekly basis, because when I make videos, it does tend to take at least one whole day for me to take a video, but typically it takes a bit longer than that. So on the weeks where I want to release 2 videos, such as, you know, a Reference Wednesdays episode and a regular video of an artwork or illustration as well, it does tend to take up most of my week and leaves me very little time to pursue the other projects that I'm trying to accomplish. And so I think I am going to have to make a difficult choice soon, and I will most likely have to go easy on the Reference Wednesdays episodes. Yeah, I'm definitely foreseeing that it's not something that I'm going to be able to do weekly. Yeah, like I said, I am going to do one more episode next week to follow up on the 100 Figure City Challenge, but afterwards, I think I will probably slow down on that front. But yeah, so what I want to do instead is put more focus on my comic, which, as some of you may know, or I don't know if I've actually officially mentioned anything up until now. I may have mentioned something small, but I recently had hit a breaking point when it comes to putting off starting to actually produce my comic, and I basically just decided to dive right into making the thumbnails for the first chapter, which I already have written and have had written for several months now. So that's what I'm doing, and I had to put a pause on that in order to finish up a couple of freelance things that I had going on and to finish the shop update. But now that I'm done with those things, I am planning to go right back to thumbnailing my comic, and I already have some plans for just essentially starting it up and just doing it, you know what I mean? I think it's time. After all this procrastination for so many years, I think it's time. So that's the number one priority for me going forward. So I'm going to try and basically put everything around, like plan everything around that to the best of my ability. Unfortunately, I obviously have to worry about my income as well, so I am going to have to juggle quite a few things, but yes, I am going to start finally prioritizing working on my comic. And the second thing that I'm going to be working on is the next stationery collection type of project. It's kind of similar to what I've been working on up until releasing the new shop merchandise. So it's something like that. I am planning to make another sticker set, and I already have the theme ready and everything, and this time I want to stick to a more solid and a more predictable schedule. And so I'm planning to actually start making a video series, or just, I guess, document the process of how that project is going to go. And yeah, so that's something I have in the works as well. I decided to make a plan for it ahead of time so that I don't lose out on the opportunity to bring you guys along on the journey of doing this project, because it is quite large. There's a ton of illustrations involved in every one of the sticker packs that I produce, and this time I am planning to make more, just trying to, like, I'm gonna try to expand the scope of the merchandise a little bit as well. That's something I've been doing with every new sticker set, so just going to continue down that path. And I'm very excited to make new washi tape designs, because the ones that I made for this update turned out great, and I'm really happy with those. So yeah, I really wanted to show you guys the process of how I go about planning these things from scratch, and like I said, basically just take you along the way. So I'm really looking forward to starting on that. And yeah, essentially scheduling is going to be the toughest thing, because every week just goes by so fast, and I never manage to get done nearly as much stuff as I want to. But I think it's time that I have to, like, start waking up earlier and start taking my schedule a lot more seriously, which is why I have to make some difficult decisions about, like, cutting out certain things, like trying to make a Reference Wednesdays episode every week, which is something that I clearly already cannot do. So yeah, sorry about that, you guys. I know some of you like this video series a lot, and I actually like doing it as well, but I don't know, unless I figure out some super swift way of editing videos and you know, organizing them and writing the proper scripts for the more helpful ones that I do, yeah, I just don't think it's something that I can sustain for much longer. I'm also planning to start a Patreon soon, something that I probably have mentioned before, and I've been kind of working my way up to that for a while now. I guess I'll tell you guys a little bit about my history with Patreon, because it is something that I have done before. I was actually one of the early adopters back in the day, when it was when it first came on the scene, but I have never really been able to properly keep up with it. And so after having used it on and off, like, several times over the past, I guess, several years, I've been really cautious about coming back to Patreon, because I don't want to get people's hopes up and then have to go on a hiatus again and disappear like I have done before. And obviously, when I do disappear from Patreon, it's yeah, I'm not, like, taking people's money or anything. I just basically suspend it indefinitely, and it becomes inactive, which is the state that it is in right now. So For a while, I've been planning to essentially start it up again when I start fully, like when I fully commit to producing my comic, which is called Gloaming Veil. And I am finally at a point where I'm planning to fully commit and already have. So yeah, now it's a matter of scheduling, and once I find a good rhythm for actually producing work and moving things forward, I think I will be able to launch the Patreon and hopefully start, I guess, turning it into a part of my income, because I am hoping to at some point, hopefully in the future, transition into being able to focus as much time as I can on my comic, because that's always been my ultimate goal. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know. And it is something I'm probably going to do pretty soon, but I am trying to figure out a way to not make it the type of thing where there's a bunch of content behind a paywall. That's definitely not something that I'm aiming for, and most likely it's just going to be some early access stuff. I do want to have a hub where I can essentially show my progress to you guys, and maybe share some character doodles and tell you little snippets about what I'm working on and what I'm planning to do. So yes, I'm pretty excited about that, but I still have to work out the details, so I'll definitely come back to that topic at some point eventually, hopefully in the near future. So yeah, that's basically all the stuff that I wanted to tell you guys about in terms of what's happening with my art and what I'm doing with this channel, like what's gonna happen with this Reference Wednesday series. And yeah, now I do kind of want to talk about this session, this warm-up session that I had this morning. It was actually really nice and I enjoyed it a lot. It was kind of hard getting back into drawing after a couple of weeks of doing all this other stuff, but I did notice that once I hit about like 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes of warming up, I finally started to get lines that I actually really like looking at, and that's actually about this at this point in the video where I'm feeling a lot more confident about my line work and just committing to making smooth strokes, and that's where I started getting results that I enjoy. So I overall really liked this study session, and I also wanted to mention that I really like this specific pack. So the pack that I'm using in this video is one of the more recent ones. It's the female pinup poses, and the poses are amazing. They're so fun to draw. They're very dynamic, and I really like this model's look. It's super unique. I like her, I guess, unique shapes, especially with her legs, and yeah, she does have a really interesting and really beautiful body, and it's so fun to draw. I had so much fun with this pack, and I'm really excited to some more warm-up sessions using the same reference pack. So yeah, like I mentioned, there's a link in my description if you want to check it out. But yeah, I essentially did several of these figure studies, and once I got to the point where I was pretty happy with them, which typically happens like around 40 minutes, I will do a few poses that are a lot of fun, and then things kind of start slowing down a little, and I find myself getting a little bit bored. So when I got to that point this morning, I decided to just do a little bit of a doodle session without using reference. Just decided to draw my characters, and I ended up doing a couple of quick portraits, and so I decided to just include that footage in this video as well and show it to you guys, because I know that maybe looking at just figure drawings over and over again can get a little bit dull, as it certainly does for me. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that the last 10 minutes of this video is just a doodle of my character, and I had a lot of fun drawing, and it actually made me think about how it's been forever since I've just drawn stuff for fun, like for no apparent reason and for no specific purpose. It made me kind of think about my old sketchbooks back in the day when I used to just sit down and fill the sketchbook with no apparent goal. And you know, I was thinking about how that's something that I would like to do again. One of the reasons why I don't do stuff like that anymore is because I honestly do have very little creative energy, I guess, on a day-to-day basis, because I do find myself busier and busier every year, because there are all these projects that I'm trying to do, and I can barely even get myself to finish the projects, let alone spend any creative energy on doing stuff that's not actually like meant to go into any specific purpose. And typically, like, since I'm trying to step away slowly from freelance work, I'm trying to put more effort into my shop, and I find that when I start to get into that mindset, it becomes very difficult to justify spending time drawing anything that's not going to be a product, or that's not going to be a print, or is not for any specific purpose that could potentially bring an income. And it is a little bit of a sad thing, I've realized, because that's definitely not how I used to look at art back in the day when I was still in college, or especially when I was in high school. That's when I never even thought about money, and everything was just for fun. So yeah, I'm thinking it might be nice to bring at least a little bit of that back. And as much as I really love doing figure studies and, like, you know, trying to get better and whatnot, I do think maybe some of that time would be better used just trying to recapture the fun of drawing for no apparent reason again. And yeah, so I was thinking maybe going forward, instead of doing a Reference Wednesdays episode, maybe I will start something new, like a Draw With Me series, where I'll just start a sketchbook where I will sit down and fill a page or like 2-page spread and make a video out of that. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. I don't know if I can actually justify that yet, but I'm going to try. But like I said, my number one priority is going to be working on my comic. Quick update, I guess, where I am with that specifically is I did start doing the thumbnails for the first chapter, which begins with a prologue. The prologue is about 10 pages long or so, and I'm like several pages into storyboarding that, and I am pretty pleased with how it's turning out so far. I thought about it, and I do think the majority of the comic is going to be done digitally, because I just don't think that it's sustainable to do everything traditionally. But after giving it some thought, I did decide that maybe I'm going to do the prologue traditionally. So that's kind of exciting. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it properly yet, but I'm definitely going to give it a shot. In order to save time on sketching and such, I am planning to just storyboard everything digitally, of course, and then also doing the layouts, like the final sketches, digitally as well, so that I can print them out and then use a light box to transfer them onto watercolor paper and go from there. I do think that sounds a little bit convoluted, and it's probably going to take a while, but I think with comics it is probably the best way to approach it for me anyways, because I can get so meticulous about like placement of things in each panel that I can really see it taking me forever to sketch out the pages if I do it straight on the paper. I don't know, maybe I'm just not giving myself enough credit, because I do have a lot of experience with this stuff, and perhaps if I just give it a shot, I might be able to sketch the comic straight onto the paper. I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking out loud right now, because I haven't really thought about it in detail yet. Like, my number one priority is just to finish storyboarding the first chapter, and then I thought I'd decide where to go from there once it's actually done. But now that I do think about it, I know I do have some options, and perhaps I should try to just sketch it out straight on the paper. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I also find it is difficult to film every step of the process when it comes to traditional art. That's one of the things that often kind of stops me from, like, obviously I do tend to skip a lot of the filming when it comes to traditional art. I've gotten better at it over the years, but sometimes I would just have a day where I really can't be bothered with trying to set up a good filming situation, and I just go straight into drawing my stuff. And then when I'm done, I really regret not having recorded it, because it actually turns out good. And even though I thought that I was having a really off day, I get really decent results, but then I don't have the process to show to you guys. So it's a conundrum. I think maybe I should invest into like a proper camera, or at least to have some sort of secondary recording option, so that maybe I can do multiple angles. I don't know. At this point, I'm pretty much just rambling, but yeah, like I said, it is a longer video. I have not done one of these longer voiceovers in a while now, and so I'm pretty much just catching up with you guys and letting you know what's going on and just thinking out loud. So that's what's happening. Yeah, but overall, it's been a busy couple of weeks, and I am really excited to dive into the new stuff. It's I guess I took a little bit of a break, and now is the time to seize these projects and make sure they actually get done. I know that things are going to get pretty busy soon because it is going to be Christmas and the holidays, but I do think I have to try harder to take my schedule more seriously, because I've honestly had it enough of just putting off my comic indefinitely, and the more I think about it, the more excited I get about actually starting it. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. As you can see on the screen right now is the doodle that I mentioned earlier that I decided to do after doing my warm-up sketching session, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. It was just fun. I was drawing Noelle, my character, and it doesn't really look like her. It doesn't exactly look like her, but whatever. Regardless, it was a very fun doodle to draw, and I do want to just draw for fun in my sketchbook again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out of thoughts. I'm pretty tired. It's kind of late. Hopefully I will manage to finish editing this video quickly enough to upload it while it's still Wednesday. And yeah, like I said, I used some photo references from Studio Graphite earlier on in this video. Link for that is in the description. And if you still haven't checked out my shop, I'd really appreciate it if you do. I put a ton of effort into this update, and I'm very happy with the results of my new products. And I will see you guys very soon. I will hopefully post another video this Friday if everything goes according to plan. I do have a video that's ready to go. That's kind of a very exciting one for me personally. Hopefully I'll get to post it this Friday, and if not, it will be coming next week. But yeah, I'm very excited to get back to my project and show you guys the process of everything and take you along the journey of all the stuff that I'm up to. So thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!